Hello everyone, this is Mizuki Arts. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be taking anime characters and redesigning them using the help of an AI that makes art out of keywords. The AI I'll be using is an app called Wombo Dream, and it has like pre-selected genres, and you can just type in your keywords and it will create a piece of art for you, which is pretty cool. And I'm certain this technology has its limits. As you can see, our anime girl isn't really looking like an anime girl. So we're going to give the AI a little bit of help and turn her into our character. So first up, we have Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is one of my favorite anime of all times, so of course I had to include her. Now the actual drawing did not come out great. Really, I was kind of rushing at this point because the end of the week was coming up and I had a big week ahead of me, so I knew I was going to have to get stuff done beforehand, or I wasn't going to have time to work on this at all for the entire week. So I tried to get some of it done as quickly as possible, but essentially I gave her a dress inspired by the figure on the left side of the painting. So I gave her all the weird little fabrics and stuff, and before I knew it, it was time to pull out my paints, and I gave her a base coat of pink because the painting overall has a lot of warm colors, probably because I described her red scarf. I ended up actually giving Mikasa longer hair because you can see in the in Wombo's painting that the figure that I'm using to redesign Mikasa off of has longer hair. I tried to replicate all the beads and sashes. Lord help me. All the beads and sashes that were present in the original piece. Mostly they probably were there just because I described Mikasa's scarf. Not sure why there were so many like weird beads present. I kind of noticed that when I was playing around with the app before, they kind of tend to just throw in like weird metallic bead-like shapes, which is kind of funny. But I certainly think that while the AI is limited, I'm very impressed with how clear the image was and how I was able to make a redesign off of what they gave me. I think that's pretty cool. I'm sorry if the piece for poor Mikasa here is kind of sloppy. She's a little lopsided looking, a little off, a little strange looking, but I tried to replicate the haphazardness of the AI version, and I thought for this redesign, just letting her have a flowy kind of look was doing it justice. Something kind of funny about the way that the app actually makes the art is that you're kind of left to guess at things, which is kind of cool. I feel like this app could actually be like really useful for just making original pieces, like just typing in random words and trying to make something off of what they give you. And while some of the images I found are clearer than others, and some are definitely just better, this was actually a really cool technique to take, and I feel like maybe I massacred our girl here a little bit, but nonetheless, I think her new look is interesting, to say the least. We'll see how the others go, right? Next up is our girl, Sailor Moon. I know this is the second character I've referred to as our girl here, you know, but Usagi Tsukino is next, and look at this absolute monster they gave me. Holy cow, guys. I might take some creative freedoms on this one, to say the least. Because there's not really a full figure shown in the AI version, I'm going to just give myself the freedom to kind of just do a headshot kind of piece. And I decided to go with a Rococo look because she's got some crazy melty looking hair going on in the piece. but I got to have fun with her curls. And if you've noticed so far in this video, I've let myself stray away from line art. I found recently I've gotten really locked into steps in my art, and that gets boring, so I let myself just skip it entirely for a little while, and it's been a fun little experiment. And so that's why the art in this video looks a little different than my last couple per se, as well as I think the art for this video might be even sloppier than usual. I feel like sometimes my YouTube art doesn't really hold up. But nonetheless, I started with a pink wash, just like I did the last piece for this one. Now, you may have noticed for Mikasa's version, I kind of let myself stray pretty far from her anime design, but for Sailor Moon, there was a lot that was actually pretty consistent with who she was in the anime, in terms of just colors, especially, like in the anime, of course, she has lots of reds and blues going on, and in the piece we had the same, so I gave her some of her elements from her Sailor Scout uniform. I gave her all the little hair accessories. I did her hair up pretty similarly to how it's done in the show, except the like pigtail part. And I gave her a choker with a crescent moon and put one on her forehead as well. Since this is kind of a Rococo version of her, though, I did take a lot of freedoms just to kind of make it look a little more like it's between the anime version of her as well as the AI painting. So I added some little bows to her hair, and I gave her some bunny ears because you'll see in the AI painting that there literally is a pair of bunny ears there. And I gave her extra long white lashes just to give her that fancy look. And finally, she's done. At this point, it kind of felt like every time I did a redesign, I was making an entirely new character, and the third and final one for this video was absolutely no different. The final one for this round will be Nezuko Kamado from Demon Slayer. She is such a cute character. I absolutely love her. She's just so wholesome. Every interaction between her and the other characters is just absolutely hilarious. And we got this very strange triangular kind of looking bizarre mess from the AI, so I decided to try and work with that and give her a soft, cute little dress, kind of a flare out shape like there is in the center of the painting, in addition to that kind of weird headpiece looking thing they had. So I interpreted that as giving her a very, very puffy, like petticoat type of dress and a bonnet, because anyone who follows me on Instagram knows that kind of fashion is just right up my alley. It's just cuteness overload. Going this route, though, did present some immediate challenges, like her hair. In the show, her hair is entirely loose except for one little bow on the left side of her head. But for this version, I had to remove that pretty much entirely, but I did end up pulling back that side of her hair a little bit, and just putting some bows on the bonnet. I wasn't sure what to do about her weird little bamboo mouthpiece thing, but I ended up just leaving it on her, even though I never really liked that aspect of her original design. I know she was supposed to be a demon, and so it was just a precaution that Tanjiro took, but it still felt pretty weird, I guess. But I left it just because it felt like an integral part of her design, and I wouldn't even be able to recognize her as Nezuko anymore if she didn't have it. So I left it on her, and I think that was the right choice. But for some reason for this one, I skipped over the pink base layer that I did on the other two pieces and just went right into kind of coloring the skin. I'm not sure why I actually went with the base layer for the other two. Maybe it was just like a tone thing, which makes sense, but I don't normally do that in my pieces. I don't know, it felt weird, and I skipped it this time for some reason. I just did kind of a speedrun version of my normal coloring process, which really meant allowing all of my sloppy mistakes to show, but trying to make orange work in this color palette regardless. In the show and in the manga art, the colors look absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely envy the ability to make orange look good. Usually I kind of get stuck in my own little world of pastel pinks, so getting to combine that with working with some different colors was kind of nice for this, even though the piece came out kind of like really sloppy, but we're just going to ignore that. I got to add in lots of fun little details like some stripes on her bonnet and all those cute little bows. Ignore that my hair is on shot in this video multiple times. Please ignore that, please. Quality content. Anyways, I tried to fix the pink in her dress by shading it with a slightly darker shade. And from there, it was all about covering up my mistakes after coloring her hair in, because I knew I was going to make that a real mess. One of the reasons I wish I had gone through with line art on these pieces and not been lazy is because of the darker colors I had to use on both Nezuko's and Mikasa's hair. That made it very, very sloppy because I couldn't get an opaque shade of black down, but I knew if I messed up and the colors went outside of the line art, it would be pretty obvious. But I did actually have a lot of fun, surprisingly, with the hair. After I figured out I could kind of blend between the black and the orange, it looked a little better, I think. I normally draw Nezuko with such blocky hair, but this time it didn't turn out too bad. And that's it for this video. I'm sorry if the mistakes in the drawings actually kind of threw off the experience for you guys. I really was rushed, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I think. So hopefully you guys can forgive that a little bit. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!